Huh, I guess I never really realized those buildings and cables were behind you this whole time. Alright, well, we're back. And the reason why we're on this screen is because in order for those mods to work, I believe we need to start a new game. We ended at the quarantine zone last time. Let's just do a new save file just in case. We want to do original game. And we want to start on chapter 2. Because I guess the whole thing before was just chapter 1. And chapter 2 is when we start to get into combat. And we get to start finding resin all over. So this is where the bulk of the game kind of starts to come into play here. So I'm pretty excited for that. Difficulty, we'll put it on hard. I don't know what hard mode entails. I don't know what that actually means. I'm gonna guess it probably just means I take more damage, which I'm probably not gonna be very happy about it, but we'll try it out for a little bit. And of course we want to start with developer commentary, because that is the whole point of this let's play, is to listen to commentary of the people who actually made the game, instead of listening to my commentary, which I've heard enough of for one lifetime. And the reason why we're starting again is so we can have more resin, the resin detector, so we can have those two work. And hopefully they will, because, fun fact, I haven't actually tested to make sure if those worked at all, so I guess we're gonna see if they work. Anyway, let's go ahead and start the game with add-ons, and we'll begin.
Hello, Alyx? We might have a problem. Probably nothing to worry about, but... Did the train stop? It stopped, didn't it?
Yeah, what happened?
It's jammed. When the Combine shut down the quarantine zone, they must have tightened security.
Which means?
Yeah, you're nowhere near Fairview Junction. You're just outside the QZ. And this is as far as we get by train.
Then I'm headed on foot.
Good. I'll see if I can get you in some other way.
Well, did you open up that door by yourself too? Because that was pretty impressive. Alright, first thing I noticed is that I have no ammo. So those 20 bullets that I saved at the end of the last recording session definitely do not apply, and they don't carry over to this one, so we're going to be finding everything ourselves.
I got a dead zombie here. I thought the Combine sealed up the QZ.
This one must have squirted out. I've heard they've had trouble with barnacle spores outside the containment area, but not about fellas like this.
Probably not a one-off then.
I doubt it.
I will say the zombies in this game look especially gruesome, so they did an excellent job with that. Just to bring up the jumping indicator, so yeah, so you can move around normally, or you can also just hold down to do a jump. I guess if you hold it, it kind of shows you the path that Alyx will take, which is something I did not realize for a while, which is kind of cool. Like, I could wear this hat if I wanted to. I said I could wear this hat if I wanted to. Yeah, there we go. So, with more resin means that I'll probably be looking around a lot more. The problem here is that, I don't have my hacking tool, and I'm not really sure when I actually get that. I'm fairly sure... Oh, okay, so there's the first developer commentary. I was, like, thinking for a second, do we have the developer commentary on? And yes, we do. Which is good. So I'm pretty sure that Alyx has the hacking tool already, but we don't have access to it. Oh, look, there's... Oh, look.
Would you look at that? Resin. And if there's resin around here, there should be a Combine fabricator. Keep an eye out. We might be able to upgrade your firepower a bit.
That was kind of cool. A little early bit of resin. Now any new resin that's added to the game through the mod is going to be red. So we'll be on the lookout for that. Alright, we got that. The game is deciding whether it wants me to be in good graphics or N64 graphics. Very good. If the N64 graphics prevail, then we'll just save and load, and it should reveal itself. Here, let me listen to that in just a second. I will make sure there's no other audio that plays. Alright, let's hear what the developers have to say about the resin, the collectibles in the game.
Even in our earliest experiments in bringing Half-Life to VR, we found that players enjoyed exploring every nook and cranny of the environment. With the increased fidelity of VR, players not only expected to be able to interact with a vast array of objects, but they also had a strong desire to find something useful from time to time. This was so universal among testers that in addition to more searchable locations and interactive objects, we added a new resource, resin. Level designers could place this new resource in fun and interesting locations that weren't tied to game progression, rewarding players wider-ranging exploration. We also tied this new resource to a longer-term goal in the form of weapon upgrades, further motivating players to explore the environment. Deep scavenger hunts and keen observation would result in more resin to spend as a reward.
Yep, pretty standard stuff. I do oh, there we go.
I think I can reroute this with my multi-tool.
You what?
It's a tool with multiple functions. So, you know, multi-tool.
Oh, here's one of the first, okay, I wonder if this is one of the first, mod inputted resin. So you can see how it has a bit of a red tint to it. That means that this was not part of the resin that was added in the base game, but this was part of the mod that I installed. So good to see that that is working. And now that we have this, now we suddenly have access to our multi-tool. Oh, I guess it's beeping. Okay, so that would be the resin detector, which is good because I've not tested that out, and I was kind of hoping that that would just kind of work without me having to do anything.
Alyx, that thing's incredible. You need an incredible brand name. Something that really sells it.
Who am I gonna sell it to?
The Combine's not going to be here forever. You should be thinking about the future, Alyx.
Well, how about I call it the Alyx?
It's a little derivative of the Russells, but yeah, provisionally, sure. The Alyx.
Yeah, the Alyx.
Well, see, I'm thinking Alyx didn't make this herself, did she? I thought she was just using it. I guess it's implied that Alyx made it herself. All right, hold on. Let me. I think there's some dialogue associated with this, so let me go ahead and.
A health station.
Russell, the Combine use these. Are they safe for people?
Yeah, I use them all the time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're great. Just put your hand in there.
Yeah, just put your hand in there.
Ow! Ow, ow, ow. Hey, you were right. These are great.
Yeah, let's put your hand in it. All right, let's see what they have to say about toner puzzles. Toner puzzles? Is that what they call these? I think everybody just calls them hacking puzzles.
Internally, we refer to this type of puzzle as a toner puzzle,
Wow.
due to its similarity to a real-world cable toner tool that can be used to locate electrical wires in walls. The toner mechanic was conceived as a tool for designers to craft player experiences around knowing that the player had to put their head and hands in specific locations. The initial design merely required the player to use their multi-tool to push a ball of energy along a path, similar to a child's bead maze toy. While this simple design was successful at getting the player to put their head and hands in particular locations, the lack of branching meant that the player wasn't required to make any choices, nor was there any possibility of negative consequences. To address these issues, we added the rotating junction elements, which allowed for branching paths and became the player's primary means of interacting with toner puzzles. While the toner puzzles ramp up in complexity throughout the game, this first toner puzzle is designed to use a minimal number of elements to introduce players to the key ideas that power flows through wires, power can be rerouted by rotating junctions, and power has an effect on the physical world, such as turning on lights and opening gates. The sparking electrical outlet that branches down toward the floor is not strictly necessary for this simple puzzle, but it was added here to expose players to its behavior, since it was causing confusion in later puzzles when players were seeing it for the first time in more complex configurations.
Why am I up here? I'm like a cat. How did I get up here? And can somebody please save me? I'm scared. How did I get up here? I didn't think this was possible to get up here. I like how I found that resin that was part of the base game. Pretty sure I never found that. Next time I come across some resin, I need to put my multi-tool up to it to see how the beeping affects it. You don't need to move them. Alright, my controllers are having a bit of a spaz attack there for a second, so I think we're fine for now. If this bone works, I'd be able to climb this pipe. Yeah, I don't know if they meant for you to actually get up there, which was pretty funny. I wasn't expecting that. Is there liquid in here? Oh yeah, there is. So it should be noted that when the game first came out, these bottles, none of the bottles in the game had any liquid in them. But as part of the developer update, I believe they also added water physics, which was unnecessary, but still really nice looking. Alright, what do you got to say about lighting?
From our earliest experiments in VR, we realized how critical high-quality, high-density lighting was to conveying a sense of realism. In game development, any technology choice involves trade-offs between quality, runtime performance, and development time. For Half-Life Alyx, we chose a high-quality, high-performance light mapping solution which required a significant amount of offline preprocessing. We performed the light map preprocessing using a render farm, which could take several hours for a single map at the highest quality. And we put a lot of effort into mitigating the cost of that high iteration time for designers on the team. Specifically, we implemented a real-time approximation to the final lighting result, which allowed designers to light scenes in real time with confidence that the high-performance light maps would match their intent. Most lights in Half-Life Alyx are baked into a single term that describes distance falloff and shadowing, allowing us to change the brightness and color of lights in real time at no cost. This encoding also allows us to apply shadows from dynamic props and characters without having to render any static geometry into shadow maps. Our light maps store directional information using the popular ambient highlight direction encoding, an improvement over Valve's own radiosity normal mapping technique pioneered in Half-Life 2. This new light map encoding ensures that the bumpy surfaces can appear bumpy even when not under direct light. This blinking light source provides a good illustration of this technique, as you can perceive the surface detail even during times the light source is off.
It says that there is, it seems to me like there is, oh, hold on. Okay, the beeping stopped. So we're going to learn about this together, you and I. Because like I said, I have not, I've not used the resin detector because it only works for the campaign. It does not work for mods or anything. I'm getting a strong readout over here. What's going on? There's no resin up here. That's really weird. It's not on the other side, is it? Like over here? Like on this side of the wall? No, unfortunately, it seems to be the strongest over here, but I don't see where it is, so let's just move on.
Oh, careful of that barnacle, Alyx.
Oh yeah, the barnacles. If I shoot these, I think I get ammo for them, so let's, at least for the first few that you run across.
Barnacles, while an iconic Half-Life creature, presented some interesting VR-specific challenges. While their tongue is intended to trap hasty or unobservant players, those caught by them often didn't realize what was happening. They would become disoriented or even motion sick as the barnacle lifted them up to be eaten. These unfortunate players almost universally died, and failed to learn what was happening even after multiple encounters. To address this issue, we created the tongue as a particle system. This allowed us to both physically simulate it as well as reliably position it for maximum visibility. If a player does get grabbed by a barnacle, the tongue always wraps right in front of their face, no matter which direction they try to look. This makes the tongue almost impossible to miss and visually guides the player's eyes up to the location of the barnacle, so they know where to shoot to free themselves. These fixation visuals that kick in as the player is being lifted not only serve to communicate the damage the player is taking, but they also help to reduce motion sickness by narrowing the player's field of view. These changes, combined with sound effects and other visuals like seeing stars and blacking out, eliminate confusion for players and enabled us to bring this classic enemy into the world of Half-Life Alyx.
Cool. Yeah, barnacles mainly just there for the unobservant player or the very observant player, because one of my favorite things to do in the game is to try and lure enemies into the barnacles. Okay, it's pretty loud here. Wait, is it beeping coming from the resin itself? Okay, it goes away when you put it away. Okay, that's interesting. No, the beeping's still going over here, so there is a resin somewhere here, but I'm not seeing it. So, okay. Let's go ahead and move on.
How'd you meet my dad, anyway? You guys work together at Black Mesa, right?
Yeah, well, no. Tricky place to get a job at, actually. I interviewed at Black Mesa. They said try again in a year. I don't need to tell you what happened after that. Lucky break for me, really. Not a lot of survivors. Honestly, it's a miracle you and your dad got out of there.
10 or 3 magazines.
Does this guy drop ammo? Drops a resin, which is useful. Ah, the pistol reloading.
We got a lot of positive feedback from our initial experiments requiring players to perform a series of physical actions to reload the pistol. Specifically, ejecting the clip, retrieving a new clip from their backpack, inserting the clip into the gun, and chambering around. Players enjoyed learning and improving at this skill. We experimented with using a single button for both ejecting a clip and chambering around, but we found that assigning these operations to 2 different buttons was more interesting, even though it was more mentally taxing. In fact, it was more interesting precisely because it was more mentally taxing, as players would frequently mix up the buttons under pressure. In the early stages of the game, players would be fumbling for clips, ejecting the clips when they meant to be chambering around, and generally making a mess. To those of us observing the playtest, this looked like things had gone horribly wrong, but players themselves consistently cited this as a high point of their playthroughs. Because of the physical nature of the reload, and the skill required, players blamed themselves and not the game for the mistakes made as they were learning the reloading sequence. In this area, we provide a number of static targets in the form of barnacles for players to shoot at their own pace, increasing the likelihood that they have at least a few reloads under their belt before moving on.
Sounds good. You don't want the player to be first learning about reloading the gun when they're like under pressure. Why is the game going on crazy on me? Alright. If I had an explosive, I could take all those guys out. I don't know there is one over here. However, I will say the thing about that they didn't mention about reloading is that when you reload, the ammo that you have... Can I get on this? No. The ammo that you have in the clip, if it's not completely gone, it's wasted. So for example, if I were to reload now, you cannot put this back in your backpack. See, it says backpacks only stores full magazines, so it just kind of falls on the ground as the ground switches between Nintendo 64 graphics and actual graphics. So you really want to make sure that you don't just reload whenever you want, because you're going to be wasting ammo if you do. So you really want to keep an eye on your ammo. Make sure that you use up the full clip before reloading. And normally there's sound effects associated with the gun when that happens. So it's not like you have a I can't say the word visual cue. There's also like a slight sound effects that happen when you're out of ammo in the clip, and also when you run out of the bullet in the chamber. So the devs were very careful when it comes to doing that.
I take it the quarantine zone is behind this hatch?
Yeah, that's where they keep it.
I'll look around for a control panel to open it up.
If I was the Combine, where would I put a control panel?
Yeah, I wonder where. It's almost like I know where I'm going. Ew. It's like rock soup over here. Oh, well, that's okay. It's not so bad for now. Oh, I can't even go that way. Okay. The graphics are not good. So I realize this is going to be a lot of me searching around. So if me searching around becomes too much, I wish I had a flashlight for this. If me searching around becomes too much, I might just cut that out. Like, cut it out, no. I meant like cut it out as in, cut out me searching. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do this. See, doesn't that look much better now? Looks a bit better. Oh. Oh, those are some good noises, Alyx. I like that. Alright, we can just kind of jump in. What the heck? What is that beeping? I didn't even have the multi-tool out. I know there's one in there. My right ear is telling me there's something going on over here. Are there any in the rafters? Oh, wait. Oh, that's just the glare from the TV. I think there's probably one in here, right? Okay, and does that stop? Alright, beeping stops, so that means that there's no more in here. It should be a bit dark, honestly, but I know we don't get the flashlight until a little bit later. Ooh, nice. Ooh, hacking. Let's listen to this while we hack.
In prior Half-Life games, while playing as Gordon, the player saw Alyx use her multi-tool to hack into Combine security systems in order to unlock doors or perform other acts of sabotage. This presented an opportunity for us to represent Alyx's hacking skills through VR-centric minigames. All of our hacking minigame designs were built to leverage the independently tracked head and hands common to today's VR systems.
Which means 40 days, the period that all ships were required to be isolated before crew could go ashore during the Black Death.
Alright. Cool.
I didn't know they were going to start talking, because Russell was talking about quarantine, and we don't say that word anymore because that gets you demonetized.
In prior Half-Life games, while playing as Gordon, the player saw Alyx use her multi-tool to hack into Combine security systems in order to unlock doors or perform other acts of sabotage. This presented an opportunity for us to represent Alyx's hacking skills through VR-centric minigames. All of our hacking minigame designs were built to leverage the independently tracked head and hands common to today's VR systems. We wanted to encourage players to use both hands simultaneously and move their head to create parallax to understand the spatial relationships within the puzzles. This locker hacking puzzle is based upon one of our earliest prototypes, in which the player was tasked with using a tool in one hand to paint a path on a sphere held by the other hand. There was just something fun and unique about using all of the natural degrees of freedom of both hands to solve a puzzle in VR. In its simplest form, this puzzle solution is straightforward, but the difficulty gradually increases throughout the course of the game by introducing static or moving obstacles of various shapes and sizes on the sphere.
I didn't know I could shoot the rat. I'm so sorry. Oh no! I didn't think it would let me shoot the rat. I think Russell says something like, got him. That's horrible. Why would they let me do that? Why would you let me do that, game? How dare you? How dare you let me shoot a rat?
There we go, finally.
I'm gonna head in. How far is Fairview Junction?
You'll go through the old subway tunnels on your way to the train yard.
Have they started moving Dad yet?
I don't think so, which is good news because we've still got time.
Oh, that's great.
Or bad news because they've already killed him. And you don't need to move a corpse, you just bury it. Or burn it. You still there, Alyx?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Why would you let me kill a rat? How dare you? It wasn't doing anything to anybody. I just thought I was going to scare it off.
Russell, are you seeing this?
Whoa.
Alright. Here we go.
Any more resin around here? No? Really? Because I think when I open up that door, it's going to, it's gonna load. Oh, I just realized that this was 6 out of 6. So we can probably just end the video here once we load into the next part. Huh. And I didn't detect any more resin, so I think we're good to go. Oh wait, hold on. Hold the phone. Oh. It's loading. I was gonna try and take that explosive and bring it over to the Barnacles. But I think that's gonna do it for me for now, so we're gonna go ahead and end it here, and next time we'll continue on with the quarantine zone, I think.